Debbie Shaffer added a few remaining touches to her second-floor classroom at Parsons Middle School Tuesday in preparation for the start of the school year. More subtle decorations line the shelves and cover the classroom walls than she is accustomed to as the school year begins, given her audience is a little older than those students she has been teaching the last 21 years. "I've been working a few days up here this summer. I had some kids come and help me. I had a few at the end of the year say, 'I'll help you,' so I had them come help," Shaffer said of some of her former Guthridge 5th grade students whom she will be seeing again this year in 6th grade at the middle school. 22 years ago I was hired in at Guthridge as a 5th grade teacher, so for the last 21 years, that is where I was," she said. While teaching every subject to elementary students was enjoyable, Shaffer's passion has always been geography and history. Positions at the middle school to teach history social studies have opened up in the past, but the timing never really seemed right. "I was at Guthridge. That was my home and I just wasn't ready to give up my home yet," she said. In the meantime, she worked on acquiring her master's degree in history. "Now, it just felt like this is the door that is open so I can teach social studies all day long. My passion has always been social studies and history, so when a position opened I was so excited about it," she said. She will be teaching all of 6th grade ancient civilizations and half of the 7th grade students world geography first semester and the second semester teaching them Kansas history. "I'm so excited," she said. Barney Pontius is filling her position as 5th grade teacher at Guthridge. She said she will miss her family there, but she is ready to keep students as excited about history in middle school as they were in grade school. Elementary school students often became enthralled with history as Shaffer planted seeds of curiosity through storytelling and hands-on projects. "I will be doing some projects, though nothing big like we had in 5th grade, Shaffer said. "I will be doing some projects because I love the project-based learning. It's so much fun and it's something meaningful to students to help them remember certain things. This first year, though, I really want to focus on my standards. I've had my textbooks at home and I've been reading all summer. Sometimes it takes me a long time to read a couple paragraphs, because I read a paragraph and then think, oh, what about, and it brings up another question. So I have my resource book, my world geography book and my computer and I am cross-referencing everything I read. Then it brings up other questions, so then I try to find that information. Sometimes it can take me half an hour to read 2 paragraphs, but I'm digging and finding the information. One thing that I've always taught when we're reading social studies is what is not in the paragraph that you need to know to finish the story. I've taught my kids for the last many years to check facts, let's look up the information and let's find out the rest of the story," she said. "That's something that I'm really looking forward to, so I have to do my own work, to make sure I understand. Brushing up on ancient civilizations and world geography all summer has been quite an undertaking. It's a process," Shaffer said, "but as students go along, they will build the story of history and they are able to understand the story. And that's what history is. It's stories of our past, so I want to be able to have the kids have that passion for those stories for the past," she said. One way she has done that in the past is reading stories to the students. "I love to read stories to the kids. All the stories I read are historical fiction stories, so they have the historical content. I try to go one step further, like we read one story called Numbering All the Bones, which is about Andersonville, which was a Civil War prison. Then there was a story by Patricia Polacco called Pink and Say, which is also about Andersonville. Well, one time when my family went to Florida we stopped at Andersonville and I took pictures and put together a PowerPoint, so after we read both stories I showed the PowerPoint to the kids, so they could actually visually see what was read about in the stories. I try to bring history to life for them. I don't teach history in order, because if you teach it in order, you get to a certain point and then the next year you get to that certain point. What I've always done in 5th grade is we talked about what we know about history and we had a timeline and we'd put those events on the timeline as we came across them. As we would have lessons we would look at the timeline, but I didn't focus so much on the timeline. What I focused on was the story and the outcome and how it changed today or the future," she said. So they weren't learning dates, they were learning events and outcomes. She plans to do much the same at the middle school. "A couple of years ago I had one boy and we were talking about something and all of a sudden he said, isn't that like corrupt bargaining, which Andrew Jackson had talked about when he had run for president and he lost the election," Shaffer said. I thought, oh my goodness, HES taken what we learned in HES transposing it to another situation in history. Rudyard Kipling had a quote that Shaffer included on her 6th and 7th grade syllabus. He said if everyone learned history as a story, we would forget it, she said. I'm really excited to be able to do some reading and some writing through my social studies. Social studies is my passion. It's what I love to do. There will be some challenges in teaching new grade levels, but, Shaffer said, I don't really feel like I'm teaching. It just feels like I'm telling stories. Everyone has told me it is really fast-paced here, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited about that. I'm so excited to see the kids and just be teaching them something new, she said. I'm so excited for this opportunity.